In a dim corner of the small living room, there was an old wooden chest. The chest wasn't large, but it looked different from everything else in the room. Its dark brown color was cracked by time, and the rusty iron holding its sides seemed as if it were trying to hide a secret. Emily sat on the chair next to the chest, gazing at it with a long sigh. She thought aloud, as if speaking to herself. Why did my father insist on keeping it here? Why doesn't he open it and put what's inside somewhere else? This was the same question Emily had asked herself many times. Her father, a calm and loved man, always refused to talk about the chest or even approach it. Whenever Emily asked him about its contents, he would reply with a single sentence, "Not now, Emily. Not the right time." But today, 2 years after her father's passing, Emily decided to know the truth. Emily sat before the chest and retrieved a small key she had found in his desk drawer after his death. Her hands trembled as she tried to insert the key into the lock. Finally, she heard a click. She slowly opened the chest and began to examine its contents. Inside the chest, she found a collection of old papers, a worn photograph of her family from her childhood, and a small, tightly rolled up letter. She took the letter and opened it carefully. Her father's handwriting read, "To Emily, if you are reading this letter now, then you have become ready." Emily's curiosity grew even more. She didn't understand what her father meant by ready, but she decided to read the rest of the letter. "Emily, life is not always as it seems. Sometimes we think we know everything, but in reality, we know nothing. When you are ready to see the truth, go to the old house in the village and knock on the door 3 times. Emily closed the letter and took a deep breath. She wasn't sure what to do next, but curiosity urged her to continue. The following morning, Emily went to the village where the old family house was located. The house had been abandoned for years, with wild plants covering its walls. Standing before the large wooden door, she felt a chill running through her body. She knocked on the door 3 times as her father had instructed in the letter. After a few moments of silence, she heard footsteps inside the house. The door opened slowly, and an old woman dressed in traditional attire appeared. "Who are you?" the woman asked in a calm voice. "I'm Emily, daughter of Michael. My father sent me with this letter." The old woman took the letter and looked at it for a while. Then she said, "Yes, I always knew that you would visit one day. Please, come in. Listen, Emily, your father was not an ordinary man. He knew a great deal about life and people. He believed that everyone has their own truth and that we must discover it for ourselves." Emily felt confused. "What do you mean? And what does that have to do with this letter?" The old woman smiled and replied, "Your father left you a lesson. You will not understand him until you listen carefully." Emily listened as the old woman began to recount a story about her father. Her father had worked as a teacher in the village many years ago. One day, a strange young man came to the village, saying he wanted to learn how to live a happy life. The young man was full of ambition, yet always dissatisfied with his life. He asked Emily's father to teach him. Instead of giving him a direct answer, her father gave him a task: to plant a tree in the garden every day for a month, without asking why. At the end of the month, Emily's father went to the young man and asked, "How do you feel now?" The young man replied with enthusiasm, "I feel happy. I never realized that continuous work could make me feel this way." Her father smiled and said, "Happiness is not something that comes from the outside. It is the result of your own work and effort." Emily returned home deep in thought over the story she had just heard. Suddenly, she realized that the old chest did not contain treasures or grand surprises. It held one simple lesson: that happiness and truth are not found in the things we seek, but in the journey we choose to live. She placed the papers and the letter back inside the chest and closed it tightly. She looked at it for a moment, then smiled. She no longer needed to open it again. The truth is not in what we search for, but in what we learn along the way. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, leave a like and subscribe for more.